Hey everybody, Stacia Smilik here. It is Thursday, April 4th, and I am so excited to come live to you with a little training segment that we kind of cut down at Lead Seminar. So for those of you who were at Lead Seminar, some of this stuff is going to sound a little bit similar, and you should have heard some of this. And for those of you who were not at Lead Seminar, this is a total treat for you. So you're going to get to hear one of the segments that we had planned during Lead Seminar. So I'm really excited to talk to you a little bit today about social media and your personal brand. So let's dive right in and talk about your personal brand and what it takes to develop it and to make it very real. And I want to talk to you really about what does this look like in action, because it's one thing to know who you are, and it's another thing to be able to articulate this image, especially utilizing your social media. This is where really social media comes into play once you've articulated and developed your personal brand. And I want you to think about, who is it that I want to be, and how do I want to be seen? And we're going to talk through some of these questions. But really, how do you currently bring your brand to life utilizing your chosen social media channels? Think about, do you know what to say? And do you know where and when to post exactly? Maybe you do, and maybe you don't. But either way, let's talk through some of that just very briefly, because the answer to those questions really will be uncovered as you answer some of the previous questions we've talked about and you define your personal brand. If you were at National Conference last summer, you heard just a small segment on main stage with National Executive Director Becky Ishii, Senior Executive Director Kristen Wairenga, and Executive Director Sharon Zellen. And we talked about what does it mean to build your personal brand and who are you? And there's one piece of that puzzle that's really important that we often forget to address. And that's your ideal customer. So I want you to sit back and think, who is my ideal customer? Who is it that I'm trying to reach? Where does this person hang out on social media? What are the characteristics of this person? Where do they live? Who do they follow on their social media channels? What are their interests? What do they do for fun? What are their hobbies? Honestly, this person could be someone very similar to you, someone who lives close by you. When building your personal brand, you cannot overlook your target audience. This is so important. You've got to define this person clearly in order to be able to effectively speak to this person on your social media channels. And when you know clearly who you're trying to speak to and who that audience is, and you really narrow down that segment, then you're able to craft a message that is specific to that group, and you're able to really connect with them. I see Kathy. Hey, Kath. Good to see you, kind of. And Janelle, you commented that everyone is your target audience. I want you to narrow that down and be really specific. Now, you might have different groups within your target audience, and you might speak to different groups of people, but I want you to think specifically about, what does the person look like that you're aiming to speak to? That way, every time you go live, every time you make a social post, no matter what it is that you're doing, you're being very intentional in who you're speaking to and what that message sounds like. That's so important. While in reality, yes, anybody and everybody could be in your target audience with Pampered Chef, because everybody eats, we want you to get really specific and identify who is your ideal customer and who is the person. If you could fill every party with one type of person or one group of people, what would they look like, and what would that look like to you? And I want you to think about the people that you follow on your social media and those who follow you. Think about, who are they liking? Who are they following? What makes them comment on a post on Facebook? Or what makes them react with a heart or a like? Get to know them well. Get to know them inside and out. I really challenge each one of you to sit down and ask yourself those questions and really describe. I did this activity last year and described who, if I were in your shoes, my ideal customer would be. And it took me 2 pages just writing out who this person was, who they were hanging out with, what they looked like, so that I could be laser focused on what my message would sound like. Get to know them inside and out. This will help you craft a message that is specific and relevant to them so that you can connect with them and get their attention and keep it. We know in the world of social media, there are so many messages that are constantly flying at you left and right, and we are inundated with advertisements and buy this and try this and like me and follow me. What is it that's going to make you stand out to your target audience? And how can you create a message that is so specific and intriguing to them that they want more from you? When you know them so well, you're going to be able to engage them and create this sense of intrigue and interest that they want. And they'll want to get to know you more, and they'll look forward to hearing more information from you. And they look forward to what is it that they're going to share next. It's so exciting. Now, friends, this is really you living out your brand on your social channels the same way you would in person. You carry your tote, you start conversations in the grocery store or at Target or at the doctor's office, at soccer practice. You do the same thing utilizing your social media. Your overarching message really should be all about engagement. Those things that interest your ideal customer, things that entertain them, things that intrigue them, things that leave them wanting more. Your ideal customer should see you in every single post. They want to know who you are, and they enjoy engaging with you. Make it your goal to share yourself with your community, with your followers, as though they were talking with you face to face. With every post you make, think about it as though you're talking to your best friend at the kitchen table or at Starbucks over a cup of coffee. That's how you build engagement and really start building a solid following using your social media platforms. So you might be wondering, okay, Stacia, that's great information, but specifically, how do I share with those already in my audience? And we've talked about now, how do you identify your audience? How do you define them? How do you develop your personal brand? How do you translate that to your social media? But let's talk about those people that are already in your audience, but maybe they don't have a knowledge of your Pampered Chef business. And I would love for you to pay close attention to this, specifically as it relates to your team members. You all might be well outside of that warm network, and you don't have many problems making new connections and sharing your business. And that's great. But I would bet that at least one person on your team at some point has come to you and said, Debbie, I have asked everyone. I don't have anyone left to ask. If you've heard that before, throw me a like or a little heart here to know that I'm not crazy and that you still hear that excuse or obstacle from your team members. And if that's something you've heard or you're hearing, especially as you're working with all of these new consultants that your teams just brought on in the month of March, this tip is going to be really, really helpful to them and to you as you coach them and help them build their network and get bookings. So we all know you have a plethora of contacts right at your fingertips. If you grab your cell phone and you open up your Facebook, you've got a plethora of contacts. And these people on Facebook may not be in your business circle yet. I want you to pull that out, your phone, your iPad, your laptop, whatever you're on, and go to your Facebook. Open up your friend list and scroll all the way to the bottom. And now I've heard from several of you, it looks different if you're on an Android. It looks different if you're on an iPad or an iPhone or your laptop. And I know this is true. So you're going to have to play around with it a little bit to find exactly where this is on your specific device. The instructions I'm giving you are geared toward an iPhone because that's what I operate off of, or a laptop that is not a Mac. So just bear with me and just know that if you dig around a little bit in Facebook, as with anything, you will find what I'm about to tell you. When you scroll into your friends list, you can open the About My Friends. It's an option you can tap right at the top when you open your friends list on Facebook. Now, Facebook has taken all of the guesswork out of identifying those who are not already engaged with you and in your business circle. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of that list, when you're getting to know more about your friends list, the people at the very bottom, that list of names, are friends who you have had little to no contact with in quite some time. These are the people we want to warm up, so to speak, so that you can invite them to be a part of your business. Now, let me give you a little tip, a little aside here. When someone sends you a friend request that you don't really know, but you've got maybe some mutual acquaintances or mutual friends, don't just deny that right away. Accept that friend request. Now, at any point, you can unfriend them or block them if you need to, but they've taken the work out of you having to go find a new contact. You can decide later if you want to keep them around or not, but go ahead and accept that up front and allow that to help you build your customer base. So now that you're armed with that list of friends and you've scrolled to the bottom and you've seen the ones that you have not had contact with in a long time, it's time to get out there and start doing what we call warming them up, which I alluded to a minute ago. This strategy can work on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, across any of your social media platforms. Now, to get these people engaged, go to their profile and find something that they've posted recently. And this is the key. It needs to be recent. And just like that post. That's it. Just like something recent and continue to watch for them to post. And make sure you're consistently just liking their posts as they come up in your newsfeed or as you go and find them. Don't like a post and then immediately hit them with a message about your business. That's spammy, that's icky, and that's off-putting. And nobody likes that. I'm sure you've all been bombarded with other direct sellers and their immediate ploys for your business. Don't be that person. It's spammy and it's icky. As much as you want to build your business, let this happen organically. And friends, it's going to take some time. This isn't going to happen overnight, but it is worth it. Lay the groundwork, build the relationship, and it will work for you. I promise. Once you've liked a few posts, this could be over a couple of days, then maybe drop a comment here or there. And that comment should be at least 5 words. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Not a paragraph about how long it's been or what you've been up to. Just a very succinct and relevant comment to the post that they've made. This process could take a couple of weeks, and that's okay. Your single goal is to reestablish the relationship, just like you would if you ran into an old high school classmate at the grocery store. You wouldn't immediately offer them a catalog and say, hey, join my team, hey, hold a party. No, you would simply just say, hey, how are you? What's new? How have you been? How are your kids? Anything like that. Just getting reacquainted. It's very simple, and you're focusing on the business. How is their family? What's new? And then as the opportunity presents itself to share your Pampered Chef business, you can go ahead and do so. My best piece of advice for you is don't be weird. And that is something that a former mentor of mine, when I was in business and Facebook was just starting to become a player in our business and in our industry, she said, now, Stacia, as you're planning a post or as you're thinking about something you might say or share, ask yourself, is this weird? Is it uncomfortable? And yes, I see the happy, laughy face. It's true. But I want you to think about that every time you're posting. I used to think about it too. Don't be weird. Is this going to make me feel weird to somebody else? Are they going to feel weird when I share this or when I message this? I encourage you to be the same. And if you take nothing else away from this today, just don't be weird and let that ring true in your head every time you draft a post. Let me give you a quick example. If someone in your Facebook feed posts about needing a second job to pay for their Christmas bills, how are you going to respond? Well, hopefully you would want to be empathetic, supportive, and really encouraging. But you don't want to ask them to join your team or tell them why starting a Pampered Chef business could solve all of their problems and pay off all their debt. You build a relationship with them. You reach out and offer to help if they need it. If they need what you have to offer, or if they ask for specific advice or information from you, then you share about the opportunity. focus on the relationship over everything else. Now, this can also work in the world of Instagram. This can be done by commenting on food-related posts that your friends, family members, acquaintances are posting. If anyone comments back, you can start to send and seed those business relationships and reply to messages. It works so simply and so easily. And I know many of you aren't as familiar with Instagram yet, but for those of you who are, go ahead and give it a try in that place too. And I'm sure later on we can talk more about Instagram. So let me just wrap us up by sharing some general social media tips that I've gotten from trainings that I've done, from other leaders in the company that we've kind of collaborated together to share with you. So the first change was is to show up every day, first and foremost. When you're planning your social media, you need to be consistent. No matter what you're posting and where you're posting, you need to show up regularly. Think about this. Does a retail store have regular business hours, or do they just randomly open their doors when they feel like it? They have a regular schedule, so their customers can rely on them. You need to do the same thing in your social media, especially as so many of you are 100% or nearly 100% virtual consultants. That's your storefront. That's your face of your business. You need to show up regularly and be consistent. To do this, you need to prioritize 30 to 45 minutes every day to work intentionally on your social media. Or you can do kind of what I used to do and spend time one day a week planning out my content for the entire week on my social media channels. I gave this example at Lead Seminar. I used to get on my treadmill on Monday mornings and I'd be running along and I'd have my iPad with me. And I would plan and schedule my entire week's posts on Facebook and on Instagram. And at the time, that was all that was really around. But I would have it all planned for the entire week, so I didn't have to think twice about it. And I knew that part of my business was consistent and already done. And now it took me about an hour to do, but that was an hour well spent to help me build my brand and consistently show up. So that's the first tip. Now, another tip I want to share with you is to get your posts to show up more regularly, which we all know with Facebook and the crazy algorithms, that's not an easy task to accomplish. So in order to help you get your stuff to appear more frequently, comment on 3 to 4 other people's posts every single day. And you want to comment with at least 5 words. Don't ask me why. That's just what Facebook wants, likes, and recognizes. So that's where you want to play, and that's the game you need to play. For every single person who comments on one of your posts, you should comment right back in that same thread. Now, I know we love to send private messages and start building that relationship, and I still think that's equally as important. But when we're talking about building engagement and gaining interaction and getting your posts to show up more, you need to be active in the thread. So even if somebody says, "Oh, yum," or "That's cool," comment back and comment with at least 5 words. It could be as simple as, "Hey, Sally, thanks so much." 5 words. "Hey, Sally, can I send you a recipe?" 6 words. Super simple, but at least 5 words, and Facebook is going to recognize you. We all know it's a numbers game, and you gotta play the game with Facebook, so just get out there and do it. Be responding. Another really cool tip that Laura Avery shared with us when we were at a director retreat is that you can get other people that own businesses. Maybe your hairstylist, your nail person, your doctor's office, whomever, your insurance person, and just kind of tag team Facebook as a group. And just let them know, hey, I'm going to comment on your post when you post. When I go ahead and post things, would you mind hopping on and commenting? And you can build each other's engagement. Now, you're not trying to get their customers or do business with their customers. You're simply trying to build a presence and help each other gain visualization and gain awareness. Visibility is the word I want there, not visualization. Gain visibility in other people's news feeds and get them to show up. It's all about consistency and building interaction. So help each other out. Now let's talk about good posts versus bad posts. And we've talked about this in Leads specifically about desperation language versus language of abundance. So a good post tells a story. It solves a problem. It inspires people. It brings joy in some way to others. Give them something of value in every post you make, and ask yourself that question. Is it weird? Am I weird? Before you click send or post. Bad posts ask for favors. They're needy, they're desperate, they're whiny, they're tricky. We've seen a lot of these bait and switch type posts happening when you're just trying to get bookings or trying to sell things at the end of the month. Think about those posts. I've been challenged to sell X number of mix and chops or X number of popcorn makers. Where in that post is it about the other person and you serving them and the solution that you can provide to them? It's not at all. Those types of posts are all about me, what I need, what I want, what I've been challenged to do. And that's not what we want to do when we're building a brand and establishing a positive presence on social media. As Barb Duke always says, think about what's in it for them. And that's what you want to be posting on your social media. Be sure your posts are personal and relatable. Like we talked about, identifying that target audience. Don't just copy others. Now I know and I see, and I'm sure Kathy can attest to this too, as we scroll, I'm a scroller, self-admitted. I'll lay in bed at night and scroll the Facebook feed, and I see, because all of you are all friends with us, the same post over and over and over again in my newsfeed. Facebook doesn't like that. Now, it's great when you see a post that has worked for another consultant and you love the post, use it, but take it, make it your own. Put it into your own words, find your own image, and do it your way. Customize it to you, take the same concept and use it and have your own genuine success. And Facebook will be okay with that. Make sure you're relating to your audience. And that's great. You also want to mix it up. Post pictures, post recipes, post quotes. See all kinds of different things. Yes, Kathy, see? Kathy says, we see you. You think we don't see you? We see you. We have eyes on everything. Mix up your types of posts. Share a variety of things. It doesn't always have to be selling a product. Share what your family's doing with Pampered Chef. Share how Pampered Chef is helping you and what's happening in your world thanks to Pampered Chef. Also, be behind the scenes. Show you working in your business, maybe in your home office, labeling catalogs, or if the kiddos are helping you in the kitchen. That's all really fun and exciting stuff that you can share and post. That makes you relatable and personable to your audience. And they love that because, guys, they want to get to know you and they want to know who you are. Absolutely. Talk about the benefits of our product. Showcase the product. Offer solutions. That's a big part of who you are as a Pampered Chef consultant and who we are as a company. And that's so important as well. Share your story. Share your why. Share different ways and different times how Pampered Chef is helping you and what Pampered Chef has afforded you to be able to do. But when you're doing all of these different kinds of posts, make sure you're telling a story. Be short, be simple, and be relatable. You want to evoke emotion and not just share data, share facts, share products. Some personal info should always be mixed in so your guests and your audience get to know you no matter what, but you should always relate back to your business. An effective story is always personal. So when you want to convey why it matters to you, and therefore you're going to convey how it helps others. Also, you need to try different types of posts and pictures to see what gets the best response from your audience and in your newsfeed. I know I learned through trial and error what got the best responses with my customers. If you're attracted to and you're stopping on certain posts yourself personally, pay attention to that when you're scrolling and try that stuff in your own social media content and see what kind of reactions you get, because likely whatever it is that draws you in will draw others in as well. And lastly, are you going live? I know some of you out there are not yet comfortable going live. And friends, I want to tell you, you can do it. And you should do it. Facebook loves when you go live. So live videos get the most attention and engagement from Facebook, then regular posted videos, and then images, and then text. If you're not going live, you're missing the boat on engagement. If you're nervous about it, start with videos and record videos of yourself. You can always press pause and replay and delete until you're comfortable, and then work your way into going live. But I really challenge you and encourage you to step out of your comfort zone, because we know that's where growth happens, and we're all working to grow, and go live. Pay attention to what gets your attention and just do it. It gets easier every time you try it. And there are some parameters on going live. Don't go live every day or multiple times a day. And don't be any longer than like 5 minutes. So if you're making dinner for your fam and you've used the quick cooker, you can go live and you can show all the ingredients you're prepping and putting in. And at the end, you could post a picture of what the finished meal looked like, or the opposite. You can post a picture of the prep work that you did, and then just go live for that big, like the magical R2-D2, opening the quick cooker and seeing the steam come out and having the finished meal. It doesn't need to be the whole process start to finish, because people aren't going to sit and watch that entire time. If they're anything like me, which most people are, their attention span is rather short, and they're just going to catch snippets. You can, of course, plan ahead and advertise your lives, and that's a really fun thing to do, especially in your parties, so that people know to be in that group or Facebook event, whichever you're using, to catch your video and to be on live. But remember, most people are watching the replay later on and aren't actually catching on live. So I have shared a ton of tips. I have 2 minutes left in the time I promised Kathy. I would be more than happy to hang out and take any questions if you've got them. And if Kathy says it's okay, I can hang a little longer if you've still got questions. But because I'm live, even though it was advertised, I have a feeling several of you are going to watch this on replay. So if that's the case and you're watching the replay and you've got questions for me, go ahead and tag me, and I will make sure I come back later on this evening. And I'll check in again tomorrow too. Just be sure you're tagging me, and I will gladly come back and answer questions about social media. And I want to thank Kathy for the opportunity to get to share this with you. Clearly, I love social media. I love talking about social media, and I love researching it and learning it. So I'm excited to learn right along with you. So thanks, Kath, for letting me come in and share with you guys. If you have any questions, I can hang out for a little bit longer. No questions? Nothing? You guys know it all already? Let me see if I can scroll back through and see any. Well, Kathy took great notes for you guys too. She gave you the rundown. I love it. Tessa says she's so excited to try this. Tessa, I'm excited for you to try this too. Okay, let's see. Janelle, yes, I love the target audience you identified. You are a gluten-free baker, and people with food allergies are your target audience. Yes, and even people without food allergies. I know this is something that's new to me and that I'm just learning and trying, and I'm being very intentional about how I'm eating these days, and gluten-free is really high on my priority list. I have a snack here sitting right by me, my gluten-free popcorn. So I'm learning. So if you could engage me with some tips and solutions and things that would help me as I'm learning that rope, that would be amazing. So I love that you've identified that segment, and you can really tailor your messages to that audience. That's awesome, Janelle. Way to go. Linda, hey Linda, yes, listen again. Lots of fun, lots of good tips here. All right. Any other questions? Sorry, I had a little person come and steal my snack. He heard me rumbling down here. If you heard him peep in. No questions? All right, guys, I will go ahead and sign off so that it's not just me sitting here talking to myself in awkward silence. But go ahead, like I said, tag me in questions. I will gladly, if you have a private question you want to take offline, you can you can definitely shoot me a message. Oh, Angela, how do you identify your segment? I'm kind of lost with this. Okay, Angela, go back to the beginning of the video and I walked you through a series of questions that you can ask yourself to help you identify who your target audience is, and that will help you. Any other questions? Oh, Dottie, you're so, so welcome. Yes, he stole my snack, which is probably for the best. I don't think I needed any more of a snack for today. So it's 5 o'clock here. So it's dinner time for us. So I'm going to go ahead and with that sign off. And guys, feel free to tag me with questions or shoot me messages. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful weekend. And thanks again for letting me share.